Welcome to the Tech Ranch, live and local here on Super Talk 1270. The latest gadgets, online security, websites and apps, social media, and so much more. How can technology help you? Let's find out. It's time for the Tech Ranch on Super Talk 1270.
From our studios in beautiful Mandan, North Dakota, along the mighty Missouri River, here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And welcome to Cyber Monday.
Yay!
Jim and I are going to be talking about some of the top things that you can pick up today. And I think, Jim, you got a list of stuff for us to go over as well.
Yeah, the what supposedly are going to be the big hot items under the Christmas tree this year, hot electronic items.
Okay, so we'll go over that in a little bit. Of course, Kate Aquino, Miss Metaverse, will be joining us about 12 or 12:30, 11:30. She's in New York, of course.
Well, it depends on what time zone. For her, it's 12:30.
It is 12:30, so I'm
right
always
in the middle of her
that.
lunch hour.
Exactly. But she'll be joining us a little bit later on. We're going to be kind of dedicate the show to business today, but I do have a couple other things that we'll bring up. We were talking a little bit about social media last week, and somebody wrote me about a new social media thing called Diabagram, and it's about diabetes, and it's a social media outlet for that. So we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. At the control panel, producer extraordinaire.
Howdy ho.
So,
are we expecting a call?
At quarter after.
Okay.
Yeah. So whoever's blinking there is just going to have to wait a little bit.
Okay, they're just going to have to keep blinking away.
That's right. So your weekend, how was it?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
I got a lot of sleep.
Yeah?
More sleep than I needed.
Did you actually have to work a couple days over the Thanksgiving
holiday?
holiday?
I was here Saturday. Okay. I had Thanksgiving dinner on Wednesday night.
Okay.
We went to Perkins. Had a very nice. It was very nice.
Yeah,
very nice dinner. Very turkey dinner.
I hear they do a nice job. Actually,
they do a real nice job.
Yeah, good.
I mean, the turkey hardly a shred of fat on it. It was all white meat. It was delicious. The gravy was good. Not too. It was not runny at all.
Yep.
And mashed potatoes, and I had the peanut butter pie.
I have
dessert.
Never had that. How was that?
Oh, it was great. I mean, it's 500 gazillion billion megaton calories. Far more sugar than I need in my system at my age.
Have you ever wondered, actually, I know we're not talking about tech right now, but isn't it funny? We all are concerned about calories and stuff all the time, but they come up with new ways to get more calories into stuff.
Yeah.
So no wonder we have an obesity problem.
Everything
in this
is
country.
upsized. Everything is these big, giant portions.
Exactly. So, and of course, you have to sit there and eat it. I mean, that's, our moms taught us to do that.
Yeah, clean your plate.
That's right, exactly. So anyway, so you have 5 items that you got from the CE Association.
The CE Association, an acquaintance of mine named Holland Cook, who is a radio consultant. He also is involved in the whole electronics thing.
I think you've actually attempted to connect us a couple of times, actually.
Yes, I have. He's a good guy to talk to.
Yeah, we'll have to do that one of these
He'd be a lot of fun to talk to.
So,
anyway, Holland, through Holland, I got a hold of this top 5 list of the items which supposedly are going to be the big items under the Christmas tree.
Okay.
In terms of electronic toys and gadgets and
so
on.
So number 5
Number 5, drum roll, video game consoles.
Well, I guess I'm not shocked by that.
Oh, yeah. So. I mean, last year's big hot item is this year's doorstop,
right,
basically.
Exactly. Yep. So there would be, and I'm not a gamer. I should probably
I'm not either at all.
I should keep up with this stuff a little bit more. I'm content with the Wii I have at home from 8 years ago yet.
The Wii.
I still haven't used half the games we got on that thing. So
really?
Yeah, but I get a kick out of it, so it's enjoyable.
Number 4, smartphones or iPhones.
Okay.
And I'm perfectly content with the one I have. I have a Droid. But I don't see any reason to trade up yet.
But there's always going to be that turnover with that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You drop a phone in a toilet, you have to get it replaced, I mean, that's just how it works.
Well, I think there's a little bit of the like we were talking about with the video games, the idea that you have to upgrade, you have to get the new hot thing. I think to a lesser extent that does apply to the smartphones.
It does, and I think a couple of years ago that was more prevalent.
Yeah,
but I don't see people upgrading as quickly as they used to because now it's kind of like your computer. Once you can type, so that your computer keeps up. That's always my way of my litmus test, so to speak, of how you buy a computer is that if you type at 10 words a minute, an old machine is just fine for you. If you're a person that types at 100 words a minute and your screen doesn't keep up, you're going to want something newer.
Yeah. Well, the other thing we have to mention, the big X factor in all of this is the economy. The fact that the economy is doing better.
Sure.
Job rates are higher. Price of gasoline is lower.
Yep.
And that means more money in everybody's pocket.
Yep.
More money potentially for this kind of
this
discretionary
time of year.
spending. Absolutely.
So,
and that
right,
brings us
number
to number 3, TVs. Especially the big giant Ultra HD, the LG 9800, which I believe you've seen, haven't you?
Have you seen the difference between HD and Ultra HD or 4K, which is
I was pretty amazed with HD.
It is almost, and this is hard to actually imagine, but it is as different as it is from analog, our old TV screens, to HD.
Now that is different.
HD to 4K. When you have them standing,
can't see the dots at all.
You don't. It's like moving pictures, like moving life. It's unbelievable.
It's that fluid,
it's
realistic,
clear, and unfortunately, it takes a huge amount of data for that to happen. So, as people get into this stuff, you're going to have a bigger pipeline to get the data to receive, to get through to watch these things. But
my problem is I just don't have a place to put it right now.
Sure.
I need to move into a bigger place to be able to get
to put that 80-inch TV up there,
and that may happen in the future at some point.
Sure. Well, they make them in 40s and 32s and things too, So, all right, next on the list, number 2.
Number 2 and 1. Well, number 1 is the same as last year. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Number 2, the big hot item for this year, notebook computers.
So, did you see the unbelievable prices for Black Friday?
I heard about them.
There was actually one that had, I think it was Staples, that had a $99 laptop.
Well, I know what a lot of the brick and mortar places are doing because of this new phenomenon where people come in, they look at the stuff, and then they go shop online once they've actually seen it in the store.
Right.
And a lot of stores are starting to counteract that by offering their own deals.
That's correct, yeah. And you have to, the $99 laptop was basically just an enhanced tablet is all it was. But if you need something just to get online or whatever, there was always that time where the $99 laptop was going to be a big deal, and they didn't think they'd ever get to that price point, and here we are. So, amazing.
Now, we're running up on time here, so do we want to save number 1 for after the break?
Let's get to it, because I think we may have a call after the break.
Okay, drum roll, please. The number 1 item, and again, it's the same as last year, tablet computers. In other words, the iPad.
Yes.
Now, explain to me, I'm kind of clueless on certain things. What is the difference between the notebook computer and the tablet computer?
Well, the notebook is going to run, Mac software or operating system or a Windows operating system, where your tablet's going to run a Droid or, a Mac type.
So the notebook is more like a computer. It is. The tablet is more like a big iPhone.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, okay,
exactly.
I see.
So
like an iPhone on steroids.
Exactly. So I suppose it is time. So after the break, everybody, we will continue our discussion with some of the top CE items of the year, as well as a conversation with Doug from BusinessNetworker.com. So
I do believe Doug is on the phone right now.
All right,
We'll
that's exciting. All right, sounds good.
Currently, it's 6 below.
Get the traffic and weather information you need anytime on Supertalk 1270 and online at supertalk1270.com.
And welcome back to the Tech Ranch, everybody.
Hiya.
Of course, you can, if you're joining us across the country, around the world, on our great affiliates, I guess you could say, the Blueberry Network, the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Of course, we're also tuned in, iTunes, and, of course, our own app, Radio Pup. So all kinds of places you can catch the Tech Ranch. And on the phone with me is Doug Vermeeren. Doug is I'm hoping he's the founder of the new website, Business Networker. Doug, how you doing?
I'm excellent, and I am the founder.
All right, great.
Great job. Excellent.
I should have been reading my notes a little more thoroughly before I went back on the air here, I guess. But, Doug, I'm at your website right now. You have this countdown going, full launch in 62 days.
Correct.
So
yeah, we're excited.
I bet you are.
A massive launch.
And it's great that you're on the show today. We're actually dedicating the show to business because it is Cyber Monday. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're up to with Business Networker?
Well, I guess one of the things that I've kind of found over the last couple of years is that, there are a lot of places to connect online, and a lot of them are really, really good, but they don't allow the relationship to become transactional instantly, and they really don't operate the way that people network and connect and build relationships in real life. So this is the first time, as far as we're aware, that there's a business connection site that will actually allow you to do business and connect on a deeper level. So,
of course, I'm sure everybody compares you to LinkedIn, so we'll just get right to it right now. How do you differentiate yourself between, what you're doing or what you're going to be doing and what LinkedIn is doing now?
Yeah, well, I think LinkedIn, for the most part, has become really kind of a job hunting, job posting kind of recruitment tool.
And I agree with that,
yes. It does a really good job. But what we've done is we've incorporated search engines into our system where a person, it's almost like a dating site, like an eHarmony. If you know what you're looking for that you need for your business, for either a customer, a lead, a joint venture partner, or a strategic alliance, you can actually enter these tools in, and our systems will find the right people for you that are the most likely to be the correct match. So the other thing I guess that you could say is really important about what we do is we have the ability to become transactional immediately. So it's not just a matter of, let's connect, I invited my friends in and the thing grows. Here you can even come in and you can shop. There's businesses that will share their discounts and everything else available to you. So it's very immediate in terms of being able to turn this thing into a financial increase for your business.
So let's say, for example, I'm offering a new product and I need a new type of box to put this product in so I can ship it out. So I could actually go into Business Networker and source a supplier for my boxes and actually do the transaction while I'm inside your framework?
Exactly. In fact, even aside from, the box itself, we've even got people who can design the graphics on it and, do the distribution of products for you. Some of them can even take them directly into a brick-and-mortar type store if you're interested. And naturally, we've got all kinds of JV partners that if you're looking for people to even sell it for you, we've got that too.
And you were talking a little bit about, business partners as well. If I have a business idea, can I post that on there and then look for
Absolutely.
strategic partners?
We've also got a very extensive group of angel investors and individuals if you're looking for cash to promote that business. But one of the things that I've found that has been very useful for me, especially with the advent of the Internet, is to be able to take my business across borders into other areas. In fact, I've got a really good partner that we do business with in Europe. And so I find that, this is really the day and age where there are no boundaries to your business. So if you're looking to expand something, even if it's a consulting or service business, you may choose to license it in another territory. So we've got all those abilities for you.
That's absolutely amazing, actually. So, all right, so businessnetworker.com. You can go there. You can actually, looks like you have a thing right now where you can actually do a register now.
Yeah, in fact, we're accepting registrations currently, and for those who are ready to, get involved before the thing officially launches, we're actually going to comp you some advertising credits within our site so that you'll be able to promote your business and so forth.
Oh,
now,
okay.
Just a quick note on advertising. We do things a little differently, too. Yes, we've got pay-per-click ads, and yes, we've got banner ads within, but one of the things that I think is extraordinary is we've also got the ability to highlight your business so that people can really get to know you, almost like how the newspapers often feature new businesses in the community. So it's a great way to, create interest in what you're doing and find people who are, who don't yet know you but will.
Sure. So tell us, are there other things that you can see that differentiate yourself between, what other sites are doing and what you're about ready to launch?
Well, one of the things that we have incorporated, and this is a lot of my background, is we actually do a lot of live events. So our networking is, yes, primarily online, but we have live events that back that up. So you can take your relationship from your electronic devices directly to, one of our live networking events. And we're looking at hosting them in a variety of cities across North America to begin with, and then obviously expanding to Europe, specifically the UK, and then Australia and South Africa. And we've got several strategic partners in these places that are going to be helping us move forward these networking events. So I think that's a real big difference for us as we want our people to have a deeper connection than just, the electronic aspect.
So these live events that you're talking about, is this like a business social type of thing? Or explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we've actually got, I guess you could call them, networking mixers, if you will. But we've got an agreement with a few different companies where, in fact, there'll even be business trade shows available for our members where you can come and have a display booth and actually, do business right there on the spot. The networking events are brilliant because they build the relationship, but oftentimes if you don't have a suitcase full of your things that you're selling right there, it's a little difficult. So these trade shows, we're very excited about those as well because business gets done at them, right?
So, how many people are you expecting at these? I mean, is it kind of depending on the area that you're at, or?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
We've done a lot of events in the past. And in fact, just to kind of give you a bit on my bio, I'm a public speaker and tied in with a lot of folks that were involved in films like The Secret, and I myself produced 2 movies as well. One of the events where we screened one of my films, we had 1,700 people come out. So sometimes these events are quite large that we do, but other times we do them quite small where they're private masterminds and we just invite top business leaders out. So it's really quite a wide range of what we have, and we'll most likely be doing the same kinds of things again, where we've got the smaller events for a very intimate crowd, but also the larger events for people who are, really looking to connect with a larger group.
That's actually kind of I love the whole how you've put everything together here, because it's kind of piecemealed right now, this industry that you're talking about. I mean, you can probably get a lot of what you're talking about, but you have all these different websites that you go to for this. It's kind of putting everything together. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and kind of what we've found is the Chamber of Commerce in various communities have been trying to do this kind of thing for a long time. But the problem is they're not really linked to other communities beyond their own. And most of them, they're volunteers that are running it. So you've got networking events that occasionally happen with a business after hours, and then you've got their website aspect, but they really don't know how to turn that transactional. So here, I think for the first time, we're going to be able to really invite people from around the world to become part of a really strong business networking community.
And I think a lot of times, too, like with chambers, they become somewhat territorial. They don't want to let things into the area because they're afraid that somebody might leave and go someplace else. In our world that's so transparent nowadays, actually you have to have the opposite approach, and I think that's what you're doing here, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
Well, one of the things we've also found with the Chamber is sometimes the leadership who, let's face it, they've got their own business and their own day job too. Sometimes they also kind of block the shot of some of their members when really great opportunities come because it could serve their own purposes. So we're going to eliminate a lot of that as well. So all of our businesses that are involved with us will have equal opportunity to really expand and grow.
All right. And so we can find you. Give us your website again.
Yeah, it's businessnetworker.com.
Okay. And you're fully launching in 62 days, 4 minutes, and 32, 31, 30.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, we'd be happy to come on the show as we launch because we're going to be offering also some free trial memberships. Naturally, you can sign up right now. You're not being billed or charged for anything, but you will get the first opportunity to have a profile. And you'll also, of course, get this complimentary advertising that we're talking about. We've got up to $1,000 to give you. So,
if you're interested in doing that, that would actually be kind of fun to have you on, because you actually are going to be launching while we're live on the show here. So that'd be kind of cool. So maybe we should do that.
Oh, yeah. Love to do it.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, Doug, we really appreciate you being on the Tech Ranch today. And everybody, go to businessnetworker.com, and I'll be posting about that at thetechranch.com a little bit later on. Have a great day, Doug.
Thanks, Marlo.
All right, and everybody, after the break, I guess we're not quite to the end of the break yet here, are we?
I got another minute we can kill.
Okay. So we were just wrapping up with the top 5 things there. So we were talking about the difference between netbooks, notebooks, and tablets.
Right, notebooks and notebook computers and tablet computers.
And there was one differentiator I wanted to make before that we ran out of time there, Jim, and that is that you can actually buy tablets now that have PC operating software. So you can buy tablets that have Windows on them.
What are they running these days?
Oh my goodness, you can get a Droid tablet anywhere from $30 all the way up to $600-700. If you get a Windows, like a Windows Surface, you're probably going to be looking at $400 to $700 for that. So you're in that computer realm by doing that, but you're getting all of the possibilities that you have with the computer too, and being able to sync it to your other devices and things. So, and that's the advantage of having something that's the same operating platform on all of your devices, of course.
Right.
So okay, everybody, after the break, Miss Katie Aquino, Miss Metaverse, will be joining us to continue our talk about business. So come on back.
Currently, it's 6 below.
Your news leader, weeknights at 6 and 10. Super Talk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek at Facebook.com/The Tech Ranch or Twitter at Guru of Geek or TheTechRanch.com. Here again is your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And, of course, joining us, Miss Metaverse, Kate Aquino. Kate, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing fine as well. So we're going to get right into it because we... I know you and I were texting this morning about what we're going to talk about, and all of a sudden we have too much to talk about in a half hour. So I think that's kind of funny how that works.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So I'm very fascinated about the bionic boots. And Jim is actually wearing a pair right now. And he actually looks 6 inches shorter with them. I'm just kidding, Jim. But I was watching the video about these. That's absolutely fascinating. So why don't you tell the audience what we're talking about?
Okay, so earlier this year at the 2014 Maker Faire, I actually was fortunate enough to meet Keahi Seymour, who is the creator of the Bionic Boot. Now, the Bionic Boot is an exoskeleton boot that he actually thought of when he was only 12 years old. So when he was a 12-year-old boy, all of a sudden, one day, he just had this vision of these boots that he could put on and he could run super fast with. And they were kind of inspired by land animals like ostriches, which can run really fast. So over the years, Keahi had been tinkering around with different prototypes for this bionic boot. And he's now come up with this new prototype that allows him to run up to 25 miles an hour.
That is crazy. So, and I was watching him, it almost looked like he was just kind of jogging with these things. But, he does actually, what would you think? He raises his height by about 6 to 8 inches?
He does. I mean, when I first saw Keahi, he looks like this giant cyborg giant. I mean, I have to say that the boots themselves probably raise him up about a foot.
Okay.
At least,
okay.
I'd say.
It was hard to tell on the video, when I was watching him there, but it is interesting, and he really does look like he's just kind of doing this kind of slow to medium jog, but like you said, he actually runs at the speeds up to 25 miles an hour. That's just and I'm assuming he doesn't tire as quickly either, correct?
No, and it was actually really neat to see because he was able to run so fast that he was actually limited by how he could actually jog around. That was him slow jogging because he could run so fast. And where we were was, the Maker Faire was on these open grounds and behind the actual New York Hall of Science. So it was all open space. But of course, there was people walking around, so he had to be careful of that. But he was literally able to run so fast that he had to try to kind of slow jog around with these boots on. And even with him slow jogging around, you'll see in the video, when you watch the video, the first few seconds, he runs by the camera, and everybody, the whole crowd, everyone who's watching him goes, whoa! And it's literally the reaction that I had, too. Everyone just sees him running, and the boots are so amazing. Everyone just you have to say, whoa. It's just that kind of a boot. It's amazing.
And I think the one video I was watching, too, he was actually jumping over things or whatever, and it looked like he had extended range with that as well.
Yes, definitely. There's a lot of mobility that he's able to have with these kinds of boots. I mean, think about it. He's inspired by kangaroos. He's inspired by ostriches. And what's really awesome, too, is that the bionic boots that he's made, they're human-powered. There's no machines or electricity or anything needed, no external power needed for it. You put them on, and they're designed in a way that when you're actually running, it works with you running to make them faster.
Interesting. So is this something that he's actually going to put on the market sometime in the future, or what were his thoughts with that?
I believe that he's definitely open to opportunities, and I think that things are very new. I mean, right now he's just on the cusp of really becoming super popular. I know that he's filmed a couple of episodes for network television shows. It seems like I don't be surprised if you see him on the cover of magazines starting in the next month or so.
Interesting. So I guess I'm trying to formulate some questions here about this because it literally is kind of mind blowing that we've been talking a lot about cybernetics in the last month or so. This is actually not really in that realm. Like you said, it's actually being powered by yourself. He's built this in such a way that as you step down on it, it almost looks like a spring-loaded type of charge that are put into these boots that allow them to make this thing happen in a much more sophisticated way, of course.
Right, exactly. It's the boots actually mimic the ostrich's gait, so it lets you run almost as fast as a car. It's pretty interesting. I mean, I'm really proud of him. I mean, seriously, to see someone make their dreams come true like that. Not many of us are able to take our dreams when we're kids and actually make them a reality. It's really interesting to me that he had this vision and actually saw the boot like a vision in his mind and was able to work with it over the last, how many years since he was a kid and to make it a reality. And now I think it's interesting that a kid can think of an invention like this and actually make it, into a real prototype and something that's real. So I hope it does come out, in the next couple of years. We could start buying our own bionic boots because
Sure.
I would love to have my own bionic boots.
I think I would too. It would be kind of fun to take out jogging because I'm much slower than everybody else nowadays, so it would be the great equalizer for me. So
Definitely. And he was very stable. I mean, I was surprised the way when you look at them, they don't seem like, when you see the tiny part that you're actually stepping on, it looks like little pedals underneath the boots.
Okay.
When you look at the boots. And when I look at that, I mean, you wouldn't think that it would be that stable, but he has a lot of control with these boots. It's really amazing. And they do look like ostriches' feet when you look at them.
Well, everybody, if you get a chance, go check it out. He's got a couple of videos on YouTube, and you have a new video on YouTube about him as well, don't you, Kate? Yes.
My web series, Awesome Future TV, you can go to youtube.com/awesomefuturetv, and my interview with him went up 2 days ago, so you can check it out.
Okay, yeah, and everybody get a chance. If you get a chance, go do that because it is very, very fascinating, that is for sure. Now, I ran across something that we were talking about a couple weeks ago about social media and maybe the ability to, I guess I'll back up a little bit there. The inability of a lot of social media is to grab hold because of, like Facebook and Twitter, nobody can really knock them off their block, so to speak. But this company has a very unique approach. What they're doing is they're going to use social media and diabetes. So they're going to fragment the market, and the product is Diabegram, and it'll be a social media that it's coming out. You can go check it out, Diabegram. I was like singing the alphabet song there for a second. But that's what it is, and you can go to facebook.com/diabegram diabetes and check this out a little bit more. It will be a social media for diabetes, and people, if they want to connect, share ideas. There's 371 million diabetics in the world right now.
Wow.
So, and they expect that to go to, I'm just reading the notes here, to 592 million by 2035. So, absolutely amazing numbers. But I see how this will, I'm thinking about the social media side of it a little bit, Kate, and I can see how this would actually be successful. What are your thoughts?
I think for sure. I think that with social media, we're starting to see people kind of pull away from more of the bigger networks like Facebook or Twitter and things like that, because everything's becoming its own niche. I think that people are starting to familiarize themselves with Twitter being for sort of business, Pinterest being for artsy people, also marketing and things like that. And we're seeing more of these niche networks happen. And I think that these social media networks for health issues or anything like that is fantastic. I mean, look at the popularity that came about from the Ice Challenge, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yeah, that's a great example, actually. I don't think they even expected it to be as big as it was.
No, and the whole world, celebrities, everybody did the Ice Bucket Challenge, and that was so great. And I think that something as, this type of diabetes social network could really create something great. Who knows? I mean, I think that these niche networks are going to create bigger and greater things and could even create cures in the future, because people will be able to find each other, connect, and pool their resources together in ways that we wouldn't before. So I think that we might even see new inventions, new things be made thanks to people connecting through these websites.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that. That's what I think. What I love about Diabogram and maybe other future health-related social media is the fact that this collaboration, between people will actually accelerate the possibility of finding a cure for these particular type of ailments.
Absolutely.
So, and by the way, because the Ice Bucket Challenge was so popular this year, Jim and I have decided to have the No Ice Bucket Challenge in 2015. Just saying. Because there were more people that did it than did not. Mm-hmm. So I think we can raise more money, Jim, you and I, by doing the No Ice Bucket Challenge.
It's our thing to zig when everybody else is zagging.
Exactly. And all we'd have to do is go outside anyway. I mean, that's like our own Ice Bucket Challenge today.
Stick your head out the door.
Wow. So anyway, yeah, not to get into our weather challenges around here this year. Yeah, it's been quite a year already, that's for sure. So let's talk a little bit about CES before the break, Kate, and then we'll talk a little bit about social media or about business apps after that. So are you getting geared up for CES?
I am totally geared up. I am super psyched for CES this year. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, and we have, you and I are and I know you don't even know our schedule yet, but we are totally booked for about 3 days. I'm just warning you right now. We have all kinds of reports that we'll be doing from down there. So should be a lot of fun. We'll be reporting back to the station here as well. Jim and I were just talking about it before we went on the air here that we will be doing call-ins on a daily basis to report back here, as well as you'll probably get to see my ugly face next to Kate's occasionally on some network news things as well. So it should be a lot of fun.
It's going to be great. And also, I'll also be adding some video, too. We'll be capturing video for my web series, also Futurist. So we'll stay tuned. We'll be cross-promoting and having a great time.
And that'll all be starting in about 4 weeks, everybody. So after the break, Kate and I will be talking about business apps. So come on back.
Currently, it's one above.
Get the app called Radio Pup for your iPhone and take us everywhere you go. Bismarck & Mandan's own Super Talk 1270.
We're back to the Tech Ranch. Stream this program now at supertalk1270.com. Here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And joining us on the phone, Miss Metaverse, Kate Aquino, and we're just about ready to start our discussion on business apps. And Kate, you have a couple that you use, so why don't you, what's the most popular business app that you use?
I would say it's a little odd, but for marketing, I love to use Pinterest. I know I've mentioned that before. Pinterest is a great tool for people to help promote their businesses, and it's very visual, and I love using Pinterest.
So tell me a little bit about how you use it for your business.
Right. So here's the thing. Now, a really big thing now is content marketing, right, and content curation. So especially because I'm a blogger, what I do is every image, I make sure that I have the images tagged a certain way. And there's certain ways to do it. So let's say if you're going to upload an image to your blog post on your website. Now, it doesn't matter what business you have, if you're a hairstylist or if you are, a majority of businesses can benefit by having websites with blogs on them. And by having images in those blogs that are tagged a certain way, when they're pinned on Pinterest, they can help you get a lot of exposure. And besides that, you can also connect with a lot of like-minded people through Pinterest. So let's say, for instance, I blog about the Bionic boot, and I add an image to my blog post about the Bionic boot. And I have it tagged with certain tags like futuristic technology and futurism, futurology. And when I tag it and I put it onto Pinterest, other people and like-minded people or people who just enjoy researching about futuristic technology will find my post. So Pinterest will also see the links, and every image links back to wherever you want the source to be, which would be your website. So that's really great for marketing and also connecting with other people who are similar-minded to you.
So do you see, when you look at your stats for your website, do you see, like search engine, people come from search engines, people come from Pinterest. I mean, is there a high level of numbers that come from Pinterest?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yes. The more you do it, you have to keep up with it. That's the thing. And you have to be able to have other content besides your own. So I will blend my blog posts and content from my website, photos from my website, along with other futuristic technology types of things or similar things that resonate with what my website or what I'm trying to promote myself. So as long as you're putting together all that great content together, people will find it, and they're also sharing it with their friends and other people that are following them. So that's a great way to have your content spread everywhere because people are going to pin your content as well as other content from you, and it all traces back to you.
You know, in the next couple of weeks, let's do a segment on blogging because I think a lot of people are very interested in blogging. So let's do that a little bit more. So my first one that I have for an app, a business app, is called Camcard. Are you familiar with Camcard?
Yes, I am, actually.
Well, all right. So it's great because I don't know. At one time, I bet I had 10,000 business cards laying in my office. I mean, and I still do have a lot of business cards that I don't get to because I collect a lot from a lot of people. But I love Camcard because it scans the card with your phone. You know, so if you have an Android or an iPhone, you can scan it, and it puts it into your contact list. And then you can tell it, there's some things that you can put in there with it too if you need to make notes or whatever about that particular person. But it's great. And then it syncs across all of your stuff. So if you are using an iPhone and a PC, guess what? You can access that information from your PC as well. So it's fabulous. And it's actually very, very inexpensive. They have a free version. I don't know how much I don't remember off the top of my head how much their pay-for version is, but I think it's under $10. I mean, it's amazing the amount of time you can save with Camcard.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great way because that does happen to me a lot where you're out and about, especially, you go to CES and you're meeting other people. And how many people do you end up getting business cards from? And how do you store all those business cards? So I think the Camcard is definitely a great app to recommend for people that do a lot of networking and need to keep all of their contacts in one place.
Well, and probably, the other thing that you kind of get into that too is the ability to get that information when you need it in the future. If you have all these business cards at your office and you're out and about and you need to say, like, oh, yeah, I talked to this person who whatever, and you can't even remember who the person was, but this Camcard allows you to access that information immediately. So absolutely love that feature about it. So you're next. What do you got next for us?
Yeah, so what's really great is, are you familiar with Evernote?
I use Evernote every day.
Evernote, yep. Evernote is excellent. I really recommend people using Evernote because how many of us get lost with all of our notes that we take? And just like you were saying before with the business cards, it's good to take down notes and to remember who people are and things like that. But the same goes for life every single day. You're out and about, you have new business ideas, and you want to capture them. Evernote is a great app for you to use. So you can access your notes from anywhere, and you could also collaborate and share notes with other Evernote users, which is excellent.
Yeah, and I use even every Tech Ranch I've ever done is on Evernote.
Is it? That's great.
So I can go back to the very first show I ever did and see the guests that I had or whatever, and it's absolutely wonderful that way and you can search everything too. I mean, this morning I was making a car reservation and I didn't remember my awards number, but I have it in Evernote. So I just typed in the car rental company and bang, there was my rewards number. So I have everything in there. It's great.
It is great. It really is. And another thing, too, is that, remember we were talking about on the last episode, we were discussing how it's good to write down your passwords and be able to save your passwords because we're always changing our passwords and usernames because it's that type of world we live in today. And so something that's really interesting is Evernote partnered with Moleskine, the Moleskine journals.
Okay.
So basically they came up with a way that you could write down your notes in a classic Moleskine journal and use the Evernote app and then take a picture of your notes. It stores everything, and it digitizes your actual handwritten notes.
Okay.
So
I haven't used that feature yet, so I'm not familiar with it.
It's great. It's really great because I like to take actual tangible notebooks like the Moleskine journals with me on the road, especially if I'm having meetings and such, so I can write my notes. And what I do is I just use my app to digitize my notes afterwards, so I'm able to search through them and see what I wrote down.
And it works pretty well.
It does. It's great.
I'll have to check that out. That's pretty cool. So, and in the list realm of things, do you use Wunderlist?
I have not.
Okay, Wunderlist is a to-do list and tasks. So let's say, and one of the things I always have an issue with is I create a list of things, and some stuff I can do, some that I want to task out to maybe my staff or what have you, but I have no way to keep track of this stuff. I send an email. I don't know if they're getting it done or where they're at with this. Wunderlist actually allows you to create to-do lists, and you can task from it. So if I wanted to task Kate, say, whatever we're working on a story or whatever, I can do that through Wunderlist, and I know exactly what's going on all the time, as long as you keep up on your side of it, of course. So it's pretty cool. It's simplistic. That's what I like about it. You don't get into something that I'm trying to think of another program that might be similar.
Like Basecamp or FreeCamp.
There you go. And, a lot of people look at those and they're like, oh my goodness, I got to do all of this stuff in there. With Wunderlist, you just type the task out and you're done. So it's pretty cool.
And that's another thing too, is that a lot of the times, a service like Basecamp, it's great and it's organizational and it's great if you have a big team. But the problem is a lot of these services you have to pay for them too. So it all adds up. If you have Google Apps for business and then you're using, other paid services like Basecamp and then Buffer, which I'll get into next. At the end of the day, you could be spending, $100 or so a month just on apps. Absolutely.
And I guess since you wanted to get to Buffer, go ahead and talk about it since we're coming up to the end of the show here.
Right. So there's two different types of social media organizational tools. One is Buffer, and the other one is Sprout Social. So the two of them have different kinds of reviews. They're very similar with each other, but they're both paid services. Buffer is similar to Hootsuite also. It's social media management, essentially. So, no matter what kind of business you have, we all have a hard time keeping up with, we all know that we have to have social media. It's that feeling, and it's overwhelming. For instance, I went to my dog groomers to have my puppy groomed, right? And my groomer, she was so overwhelmed. She's like, Katie, I need your help. She goes, I can't keep up with social media. How do I do it? How do I keep on, getting customers to see where I am or to find me? And a lot of the things we need to do is, it could take an hour a day. We need to schedule our tweets, we could schedule our Facebook posts, and it's good to have a tool, like a social media management tool, like Sprout Social or Buffer, to help us be able to, spend an hour and we can publish anything we need to publish in one spot.
All right, so Kate, I appreciate it. We're at the end of the show here. We'll see you all again next week. Take care, everybody.